Hello everyone, and welcome to the video. My name is Owanger, and I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the HotA camp. And I'm going to be going through all the scenarios. So let's start off with the Jolly Roger, Pirates, and Poems. So, personally, fair amount of choices here. No attack skill. Typically, the first campaign was mainly about the story. In regards to this scenario, this one was a breeze. Let us put in some sheets here. Okay, we're just gonna spell that incorrectly first of all. Anyway, it's a small map, I'm pretty sure. Just consists of building a fort, which is a nice beginning introduction, because let's talk about Jeremy, develop his character if he has any. And then you can get a kind of a feeling of Cove with Jeremy. Now with that, let us just Master of the Island. I think this was a really good one. Wait for your boots probably all the way for this one, of course. So the Pirates and gold do not help too much. And more lore development, and you get your first threat being the Kriegans. You get more story about Jeremy, and also I believe it's Elkin, but we'll see later on. Could be a rather challenging scenario if not done precisely or effectively. So you can waste a lot of time when you're not switching out the Wayfarer boots and the boost of speed. So it's nice. It does have some challenging guards. The Wyverns are probably one of the strongest. The Sharpshooters are definitely what you need to clear out rather quickly in order to enter mid-game and then have enough for Wyverns. Kind of want to talk about an issue is that the Mage Guilds, they offer a nice variety of spells. However, the whole the devs of HotA wanted you to probably learn how to play against the creatures, be able to defeat them without using common spells. I don't know haste is here, but it really depends what you got on Jeremy. And the cannon is ridiculous, of course, with the artillery specialty. You got the lightning bolt here, and yeah, I mean, you don't really need the spells in the first campaign. It's just introducing Jeremy and the faction to beginners. I'd say it does an effective job of it in the first two scenarios, leading into the third one. So, the third one, that is Devil's Sunrise. That Jeremy and Elkin are going to be defeating several demoniac heroes. Of course, let's go with the Serpent Hive. I think that was the best one. So we got Elkin sort of getting off the island, or at least the first step to, well, not the first step precisely, but, well, eliminating the threats for now, which were the Kriegans. Of course we're gonna spell we're gonna miss the is and what is the matrix. So yeah, I'd say these are rather reasonable heroes. Kind of easy though due to Jeremy and probably his stats and skills at this point. From what I recall, I was able maybe I was able to get slow. It wouldn't have mattered because the dragonflies give you speed advantage over the devils. Of course, Axis has archdevils, but it doesn't really matter too much due to the fact that they're just moving very slowly and you can get them out of position very easily. Kind of interesting with the artifacts and dwellings. I don't really know how the Inferno Town is supposed to even get to these dwellings, or artifacts for that matter. I'd say it's rather difficult for them to even get to this point without you being like able to defend. So it takes like roughly 2 or 3 weeks for them to get to you if they even come. And I know there's usually one hero that uses this monolith. If I could see what is going on here. Oh, okay. Interesting. I did not know about this. What an interesting use of space. So that's essentially forcing Cal to take it. Okay, I didn't know that was a guaranteed chance, but it's good to know. I mean, he doesn't pose a threat. You know, they seem very cautious in this. They made the heroes too weak. Progressively stronger, maybe, but it's kind of too late when you can get, you know, the Wyvern Nest rather quickly. It doesn't take much effort to get that. You got Swamp Terrain advantage and a buffed up Jeremy at this point. Overall, I think this is a great introduction to Cove and the lore of Jeremy. I kind of wish they had made this last scenario a bit more challenging, but well, they made what they made. So let's see. Now, the second campaign. Yes, I cheated, I know. Terror of the Seas. We're gonna start with Prisoner of Doom, and oh boy. This is getting nasty. So we start off with Bidley, bearing on Jeremy's other brother. He's gonna be freeing the mage from the prison. I don't remember the mage's name. Of course, we get introduced to the whole Horn of the Abyss lore. Wow, in terms of this scenario, I don't really know what was going on. I was having a rush to this town, and rather had to do it quickly. This seemed like a red herring, even though the story wants you to go here. It just seems better to leave it alone and go here and build this up and wait for them to visit you. At least that's how I handle the scenario both times I've done it. And it seems kind of inefficient. Also with the events in Cragmore being that it gets built up, you kind of don't want to take it because then you don't want to take it because once it gets built up, you would want to take it. But if you have it in your possession, it doesn't get built up, so. And then it's also a massive time waste because the enemy gets stronger while you're not really getting stronger yourself. And they have events which give them buildings that you can't even build. Alas, if you want more difficulty, sure. Overall, the final fight is kind of iffy as well. I don't really enjoy, personally, I don't really enjoy these sort of gather up army and make sure you have more than what you need. It's sort of underwhelming, and it's kind of repeated numerous times. I did like the positions of the Eye of the Magi though. Those kind of help you show where to go in terms. Well, they help you show what's crucial to getting to completing the scenario. I don't remember what the Sears hut is, but I don't think it was too massive. Could probably check it just for measure. Oh, we're gonna do this. I don't think this would be too helpful. I did see this. Yes, no, it's not helpful at all. Jarber Cross is definitely a threat here, though, so I kind of enjoy the challenge of avoiding him / getting stronger than he is. Just makes the first part of the scenario could be cumbersome, could be challenging, and I kind of enjoy the fact that there's something here to fight, really. This Tyraxor is more of a army check. Jarvik House, he's a rather tough opponent, so avoid him at all costs until you are stronger than he is. I also did not understand this garrison. I understand the other garrisons to protect their army. This one, it's just like another reason why you shouldn't go up here. And then the ogres. You could probably build a city up, but it doesn't seem good enough for later game. For mid game and late game, due to the fact that this town can produce almost all of the buildings. That's my thoughts on Prisoner of Doom scenario. Even more, oh boy. I'm gonna say straight off, I did not do this efficiently because I try to use Kesmetra the whole time, and that is definitely not what you want to do here because that is doubting Jeremy's ability. His skills can be good. This is not logistics, so that's not good at all, but you want to roll for logistics. And these are like often randomized as well. Anyways, when you use Jeremy, you can get through most of this area rather quickly, and then rush towards the swamp town, or I should say the fortress town. You want to get the fortress town eliminated as soon as possible because they have swamp terrain advantage as well, and once you get their town, it's really useful for you. After that, it's rather snowbally because you get two towns versus Orange's town and Purple's town. Really, they have the only choice of going through this underground section to get to you. But they would still have to go through swamp anyway, so it would be hard for them to traverse through it once they get to pathfinding. Hot of the Magi shows you all the towns, I'm pretty sure, which is nice. It's a good touch. Well, it doesn't show you this, but you should get this before going to the Hut of the Magi. Round 2A Monolith. I did not understand this part. I don't really need these too badly. I avoided it both times I played through the scenarios. Because I'm kind of interested. 4 fibers, 50 storm allies, and 8 psychic elements. Okay. That's kinda... it would be hard to do it early game, but I can see it being done with Fortress Town. And the Wyvern Monarchs, of course. I did realize they did fix that spot, which I did use that to my advantage when I played this the first time through. So that was not recorded, of course, but there's an empty tile here. You could land on it and take the RDs and whatnot. Of course, you could see that the red dragons are supposed to be guarding this area, but yeah, you know, it did help. Of course, it also did use time, so Jeremy was really fast after that. Of course, I did struggle more the first time around with Jeremy, but the second time around when I started using Jeremy, I did it really well. When I was using Kesmetra, it was just not working. It's like trying to demolish a brick wall with a bunch of toothpicks. We got up close one time. I believe that was when the Crater Basilisk got the morale and then stoned sorceresses, technically getting like a triple turn, I guess you could say. And the Pathfinders in case you need it. Kesmetra's stats, I don't know. The skills are questionable. It's just interesting why they would think that's great. The Sea Witches might be... You could choose between... Oh no, you want to get the Lightning Bolt for Jeremy. That's what you want to do. And Kesmetra, but Kesmetra doesn't really play a role in this. Interesting. Let's move on to the next scenario. Shores of Hell. On my first playthrough, I really enjoy this one. However, it's not rather challenging. We do have red with like 5 towns, but unfortunately the AI seems to think that because they have garrisons, they're safe the whole time. So they leave their towns unoccupied, and you know, after that it's kind of easy. Just get their towns, and then if you need to, you can castle gate once you get 2 or more. Well, there are 2 out of the 3 towns, of course. The other 2 are side towns. That's fine. It's probably giving them income. Let's see. Of course, Tarek is up here. There was a sufficient amount of lighthouses here. The objective, yeah, it fits. Getting supplies needed for the efforts against, or not against, but to get the Horror of the Abyss. I guess against the Kriegans as well, so their war efforts are aided. Hut of the Magi. What does the Hut of the Magi do in this case? Let's see. reveals a gold mine. Okay, gold mine. Reveal this. Let's not reveal the red tents. Okay, well, for the primary objective, the Hunt of the Magi is showing that is alright. It just shows this area. No, that would show you. It's not show you the towns, I don't think. Yeah, see, there's 3 more, 2 more on the side. And it does not show you the red 10, which is crucial. Also, let's see. Red 10 is crucial for the gate over there. I guess it isn't too crucial. It'll make it easier for you later on. I don't understand this quest guard with your guards, but okay. This makes sense due to the fact that Sears huts want you to get gold. I didn't go through here because on my first playthrough I already experienced the trap. Of course, it's not much of a trap. That monolith sends you to here. It's not much of a trap because typically you have slow. You probably get slower haste from the previous scenario of Jeremy, which we'll be doing most of the fighting. If you only use 1 hero. This in itself is rather helpful. Not the best artifacts, but the gold is quite good. And Jeremy can just blast these devils to pieces. I like the little touch with Castle Town here. They do a hint at it, which is nice. It's a nice design on the map as well. The spiral and little nice details, or nice attention to detail for Sears huts. There's also another red border gate here for that gold mine. You can see what they're going for. Wanting you to get as much gold as possible. Yeah, you got numerous times where this comes into play. Overall, it can be challenging with the 3 towns that they get at the start. But with the help of Jeremy and Sea Dogs from Binley, it can be made rather simple. Yeah. But you don't even have to get rid of the Inferno towns. But getting all the stats is really nice without any issues. If you want, you can rush to Cornucopia, but be aware that's gonna hurt in the long run. Freedom of the Nyx. I really enjoy this one. It makes sense. It explains this introduction. I said Tarek earlier, I think, but it's Tarek. Really enjoy the introduction of Tarek to the story. Though he doesn't get a main role, he gets a side role really. Either way, it's not a nice map for side hero. It's too bad that they lost against the Elemental Lords, but what can you do? helping save the Nyx. Nice. Not much of a challenge if you get stats. I presume they wanted you to not have stats. On the earlier map, they had a town hidden in the top of the corner, underground, that kind of blocked the den of thieves, which I thought was a nice touch. It also prevented the, well, it prevented the map from ending, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Tark can get rather strong in the first part here, and then the dungeons not being allied to each other and attacking each other doesn't really help their cause, and results in, well, just you stopping them essentially. Second part of the map is actually getting the Nyxes from the encampments. I thought, you know, it's pretty good use and introduction of Nyxes, but you'd probably be using the dungeon army, most likely. Except you don't really need to, because the guards aren't really that strong. I do like the little details here as well. This library being hidden with the 2A. This kind of seems excessive, but you know, whatever you want, I guess. It's not really tough either. Of course, that's talking in terms of week 1. But with Tark having lots of stats, it's probably easy. And a lot of dungeon army. Do not need it though. I really enjoy this one. Yes, we won't follow it down. Search of the Horn. Yeah, a lot of trial and error on this one. Due to the fact that they banned summon boat on Bidley, I had to try a lot, because often his boat would get, well, summoned by the enemy hero somehow, because it was unoccupied. It's very sad. But let's just go into detail about what's happening here. Yeah, blue can, that's a nice voice crack, but blue can be challenging. You can defeat them with Jeremy rather early. If not, they'll give you some trouble, and you can, if you need to, you can retreat with Jeremy, because he's not essential to, well, it's not essential to the loss condition. So yeah, if you need to, you can get reinforcements there, because measure typically goes through here. And typically I send Jeremy up to blue immediately. You would have view air and view earth and slow stats as well. But in terms of hero scaling on the enemies, the HotA devs did a really good job of that. Yeah, the series of tents was interesting. Box, it's a nice troll, but come on. Of course, the 5,000 Haspits were a nice treat. You got the anti-loss condition with blue hiding the stats and whatnot again. Core back. Oh, there's supposed to be 2 boats here. Yeah, that kind of gets ruined when they summon boats. It's a shame that they Could have been summon boat for the AI, but nah, why would we do that? I mean, this is an easy way of fixing that, just to like give Bidley a way to get a boat, spell scroll for some boats. Early on, preferably, so you don't get stuck later. And then the next problem is spell points, but you know. Bidley should have water. Air, earth, maybe water. Typically you want water on water maps. You want water magic on water maps. Of course you want water on water maps to make them water maps. Yeah, I really enjoy the whole Darjan story as well. Not much else to say about this. It's not very challenging. The ambushes, not the ones here, or one here. Rather, the ambush in regards to just randomly thrown throughout these tiles is kind of not really necessary. They're not really hard to defeat, and then that's just another way you can lose the scenario if you have no units on one of the heroes you have in this section. Binley or Darjan. No, this is a nice, well, entering the climax of the story. Good. So it's a good way to get the story to keep rolling. Yeah, I don't really understand the Maelstrom. Probably just an introduction to the Sea Serpents in the next scenario. It makes sense. Seeing as how they're supposed to be guardians of the Horn. So let's continue on to Treachery. Or Sea Captain's Hat. So yes. He's captured by Darjan. Jerry has to set out to save him. So I'd say this is a good scenario based on the fact that the AI, Conflux AI, can be rather challenging. Blue can be rushed. Pink is another one of those Prisoner of Doom situations where it's not really effective. Getting these Pirate Caverns up here was rather nice, and getting the one down here gives you a nice healthy stack of Sea Serpents or Aspids. Giving Targ another area to himself is rather nice as well. Rich area. It's interesting. Again, I don't see a purpose to it, but it's some interesting side story. It doesn't really need to be here, but it gives the map more depth to it. Again, the lighthouses were... There's not as many lighthouses. There was a lighthouse over here, wasn't there? What is... They changed the map. What's happening there, actually? I could have sworn there was a lighthouse with rogues defending it here. Just check. There's a Cyclops King. So 3 lighthouse there. I don't think I ever got that one. Unless it's a really nice one. Huh. What happened to that lighthouse? Okay. It's nice details as well on the red tent. I mean, this is interesting for what it's worth, but I don't see it useful. So you just get past it. If you get fire magic against Darjan, that'd be rather nice. Against the Haspids. It's a nice conclusion to the campaign. I don't remember these lighthouses now. The Sears huts. Adequate again. Not necessary, but... Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, there was a lighthouse here, but it's not here anymore. It's interesting. I could be misremembering it, but I do remember battling rogues. The lighthouse. Maybe it doesn't make sense. I don't really know why that's not there anymore. I also don't know why you give all the lighthouses pink if he doesn't really use them anyway. Oh, Elmore might use them, but I don't think they go through the Serpent Flies ever. Because their town is rather inadequate for them. But buffing up this town might present pink as more of a challenge. Rather than him just being another army check slash spell check. Tan is rather strong, so getting rid of him is key to not having any issues finishing the scenario. Again, you don't need to kill Tan though, so you may have a chance to kill Pink before that. Anyway, that includes a second campaign. Yes, I cheated again. Frontier. Let's see. Oh, yes. I'd say this was very interesting. It's rather challenging, and since you don't really get to start over with Jeremy, essentially. This is the 3rd campaign. I think Green gets a rather large advantage, but I don't think the point is to kill him. The point is to like find the Grail, essentially. But then again, you need to kind of kill him before you can get started with Red's area. From this point onward, this was my first playthrough of this campaign, so continuing on, you get this town rather quickly. The next fort is always useful, guarded by the OP monks, which, well, should be more of, but fine. Iron golems can probably be an easier fight, but yeah, maybe you can do it with this starting army without the rogues. If you knew about the one of Freet, you could probably do that, but it could have been 4 for all you people. So once you get rid of pink, pink is rather the first one you get rid of. And you have to be cautious about it because green is usually around here. Oh, that's his scarce, huh? Right, okay. So right, you get pink, you get this serpents, sea serpents, and maelstrom. Start building up army to at least start attacking green and try to get his castles so he doesn't get angels. And since the AI doesn't really understand that castle unoccupied and without troops the last day is a bad idea, you can easily get that going for yourself. Nice little touch with the dragons. Not really needed, but it's not bad. I really enjoyed this part of it. As difficult as it was trying to get through here, I never got through this Searside, but I didn't find it necessary. There's a resurrection in this one though. Could be rather useful. You got the brown tent. That area. Red call. Either way, so you could probably fight. You have the option of fighting the Inferno Town, but they have so much army by the time you get to them after killing Green that there's no real way of doing that to get dessert. Really, the only choice is to get the Drail. And you get an adequate amount of monasteries and paths out to help you with that. So it was pretty good. Pretty good start. Really enjoyed this part of it. This first part of it was challenging. Green, he did get an advantage, but you can deal with it, which is challenging enough that it's not terrible. Moving on to Heart of Water, I should say. This one I was not too fond of. It seemed like a lot of rushing, honestly. Get to this one, salt water. The lore up to this point is good. Scenarios, yeah, there are some unique ones. Yeah, so you get a salt water, then you kind of have to rush to Frozen. And typically, blue would get weaker over time once you have those two towns. And then you would also have to get the third town so you can get through the army check yet again with the Azure Dragons, which are apparently Crystal Dragons now. Who knows? Got this little fellow here. It's just constantly annoying you. This gets built pretty nicely though. Although I think it's basically because it's like pre-built for them through map events. Speculation. The tents, their guards were nice. Hard enough that you had to get enough army for them. Blue can be a challenge at the start, but you can snowball pretty quickly when you have town advantage. Teal, it's a good annoyance, but not teal. Green, I should say, because we are teal. Green's a good annoyance at first, and then kind of becomes not even a threat, considering you just put a hero over here just to stop them from coming out. could probably get another tweet portal over here, but I can see the reason why you wouldn't want that, because it's just so annoying. But it's not a challenge. Teal doesn't really pose a threat for the most part. I said teal again, I meant green. Seer's quests. You probably should do them for the artifact to get an advantage. It seems like the third time now. So you had Prisoner of Doom, you had Dark Gem do this. Now you have Lakis, so that's three. 3 army checks. Yeah, to say that she's getting this much army, it's like purposely army check. Prisoner of Doom, the guy wasn't given army. The hero wasn't given army, so okay. It's getting to the point where it's kind of it's just not really good. So I do recall I had to wait a couple months just to even fight her. The water elemental mechanic in this is relatively nice. I enjoyed getting the water alleys, but after a couple months of it, I got sick of it. So, you know, it fits the concept of the map. Horn of the Abyss, Horn of the Abyss. Horn of the Abyss. This was one of my favorites. So I had to use some strategy here. For the first part, you had to kind of rush this town and get these side towns. And from this town, you can build this up with one of your side towns. I built this Cove City up. Started a chain from there to here. The other 2 I claimed, so I would get money. And essentially it became just waiting for their main army to essentially come down. And then claim the town that they did not come from. Alright, so after you get those 5 towns, I mean, you didn't really you needed the purple tent. Purple tent's over here. It's quest guard, which you can scout out relatively easily. This ambush over here is not needed, but what can you say? I do not see us how to manage that. Yeah, the Recander's Cloak was probably very useful, so scouting this out early would be rather good against the final battle. Not like the previous 3 incursions. This battle actually had her, or I should say had Kismetra have a fixed army. It probably was a challenging fight if you didn't have Recander's Cloak. Yeah, it's interesting. They have this measure here as well, so that she wouldn't just disappear, and you would beat the campaign then, or scenario then, just easily. You also had a blue tent. Alright. Okay. Seer's quests were kind of not necessary. plenty of stats just in case you need them. The time limit is understandable considering the lore, where Kismetra has the Horn of the Abyss now after Darjan had been killed. And now you have to defeat her before she summons the, I don't know, Deep One or something. I don't really understand, but she had a summoning ritual and probably summoned Cthulhu or something. It wasn't really thoroughly talked about what she's, well, they said that she was summoning an ancient one of some sorts, and then you could see like the seas and whatnot reacting to that. I think it would have been interesting to see that fight, but probably be another army check. So yeah, the last one being all hands on board. I think there are a lot of issues in the scenario. I mean, let's just start with what is the matrix. Okay, so you do have a hut of the Magi. Actually, we need to demonstrate this first. Okay. There's a sufficient amount of gold and resources on this map. Helps you build up the 3 towns you're given, and what the extra one you earn on your island. Let's see here. These eyes of the Magi. Okay, so this is Implosion, not Town Portal. That was very sad to find out. At this point, you really want control because it's a extra large map with underground. If I can even pull up the star info. It's an extra large map with underground. Not like full underground, but decent amount of underground. And the AI has Town Portal and also has lots of towns. Or at least an equal amount of towns to you. You get this eye, which shows you Black Market and an obelisk. Which I have to say, the obelisk on this map kind of favored the AI. Of course, the AI is going to get the Grail before we can, once we rush the Grail. The quest card here, or DD, against the Titans, not necessary. It fulfills a requirement for something later, but it's, again, not necessary. So once you have DD, you kind of don't need it because you've killed the tower AI. Oh, well, I have to get to that point, of course. So the first thing, there could be multiple ways of doing this, I think. Could get the Conflicts towns. I prefer to get the Tome of Fire now instead of having the Conflicts town have it later, especially since they have all the invulnerabilities with it attached. And since Bidley was statted up nicely, you could go for it. So you're killing this to get the Tome of Fire, the Orb, and get these 2 towns. And you would have to essentially babysit against the heroes that come from this town for a while. Of course, you want to get the Wayfarer boots since you're gonna have Fangarms, which do not favor swamp or snow terrain, or get pathfinding if you are going to pre-plan this scenario. Um, so you get a decent amount of fandoms over here. It does take a lot of time though. With Bidley. So then Jeremy goes over here, gets the Cove towns. Essentially we're just trying to reduce their numbers while gaining numbers ourselves. And that comes into play later on is very useful against orange and blue, which have ridiculous amounts of army. By the time you're finished with the Cove and Conflicts factions. Of course, after that, Bidley would form the Fangarms, and then well, you don't really know about this, but there's Tom Portal here. How would you know about this? I mean, I had to cheat to find out about this. I kind of ran out of patience for this scenario because I did not know how to get Tom Portal. Tom Portal was still banned from Mage Guilds. Unless I got really unlucky rebuilding the level 4 Mage Guilds 19 times. Okay. Well, it's just really interesting. You get the Tom Portal. Another thing, the blue 10 over here is not guarded. It's okay. Well, you don't really need it. Yeah, so the blue 10 is not guarded. So, essentially you get a scout hero over here. While Bidley is farming Fangarms, and then once he's done farming Fangarms, he can go get rid of the Conflicts town. So the blue 10 can be taken by a scout, essentially. I'm not gonna babysit this anymore. And then comes the fun part with orange and blue being the fact that they have lots of army. So blue gets the, I believe, both. Let's see, both of these towns I think were pre-built to tier 7 already. Let's just verify. Verify, even though we do not have necessary. The old-fashioned way. We just need, I need to check this. Just to verify. Okay, that's tier 7 in one town. And the easy to get Cloud Temple. How many of these to join? They might join. Sorry. We'll probably have a lot of time just sailing there. Yeah, also tier 7 rebuilds. It's probably the same with orange. Except orange gets 3 towns. Right. So I don't want to check before I say anything else. Of course, orange gets the Grail. They get a summoning portal that gives them dragons. 7. This is not built at all, okay. Just try to get over to these towns as fast as possible. Yep, tier 7 with. Oh no, that's not tier 7. It's. Actually, no, that is. Oh, I see. But why is. Oh, because that one has a pre built. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so there's essentially 2 tier 7 buildings for orange. Slight oversight with orange again with the warden. He sort of just disappears once you get all of orange's towns. Slight oversight, just slight, you know. Let's see what he has. Well, we know what he has, sort of. So, where was this guy? What's she? Anyway, right. He's got Minotaur Kings, 300 Minotaur Kings, 15 Black Dragons, and he probably has. Right. He has some shackles, so that's about it for that section. Essentially, you want to get the Cove town, gather up army, and then deal with orange and then blue, or blue and then orange, whichever comes to you first. Once you get the town portal, because you do not want to be chaining at all. I'm apparently a computer now. Awesome. So yeah. I could advise having this be guarded, but then have like a Eye of the Magi here. This one just needs an Eye of the Magi. I'm pronouncing it like in different ways apparently. Okay. Of course, once you get DD, it's not used here, so I was mistaken. It's used over here. It's used over here, and I believe, I do not remember. I think this was, you had to get like 5 Azure Dragons from this to get an AA, I believe. Also, fake Magic Well. Also, fake Centaur's Axe, but that's sort of nitpicking on both of those. Sears quests were not necessary. 50 Vampire Lords, not useful, because you're pretty much done with the scenario if you even get to this part without killing blue or orange. Fangarms from one of the Sears sites, like, okay. I mean, it's a nice start, but you need this, which you need to kill Mighty Guardians for. Which is probably possible with Bidley or Jeremy. Jeremy most likely. If it wasn't for the fact that you should probably be getting these towns instead of 20 Fangarms over here. I don't know. I don't know, this scenario can be better. And I feel like if those two Eye of the Magi are implemented, then you can get a better sense of direction. Or if you could hint at this being more useful than the scholars in both of these areas. It'd be useful to know about the town portal instead of having to cheat to find out about it. Find out about it and find out about town portal being banned on the last scenario. There's a ton of stuff happening against you. As far as that goes, that would be the end of the campaign part of HotA. The multiplayer aspects are interesting. You know, at first, it seemed like the changes were good, but as time went on, it's kind of interesting the way what they started doing. What the HotA dev started doing, I should say. Banning red orb and Recapture's Cloak is kind of interesting. Something so RNG that I could see why. And then changing resistance is kind of not necessary because now it's just sure it's consistently good now, but kind of eliminates the point of resistance. Instead of like reducing damage, or sorry, instead of resisting the spell by 15%, you get its spell damage reduced by 30%. It's interesting. It's not really, I mean, the multiplayer applications have been well made. Simultaneous turns, awesome. Makes the games go faster. It was buggy at the start, but that's how things usually are. Well, I mean, not always, but when the community is so small, it might as well be the case. Having the effectiveness of necromancy, yeah, makes sense. The necropolis is rather strong, and also I think they put more limitations on vampire lords. You know, Cove as a faction in PvP was rather strong in the start because most of Cove's heroes are good, and Jeremy not being banned at the start is kind of like, oh man, kinda wish they hadn't done that. Because just getting Jeremy is like 4,000 gold value. Getting gold back for just buying him, it's sort of like okay. And then his cannon can kill to tier 7. Which is a good joke nowadays. A tier 7 killer being a cannon. Oh, especially with tactics and slow. Oh man. So much utility for that. Overall, in the single player PvE experience, I'd say it's a pretty fun experience, but in the PvP side of things are getting more balanced, well, more toxic as well, and the direction could be better, I believe. Well, there haven't been many updates nowadays. And hopefully there were rumors that were going around that they were going to nerf lost spells, such as Expert, Air, and Slow. I should also add the resistance changes and no, the protection from the elements changes were interesting as well. They made them more useful spells, so that's always nice. Overall, it's a rather good mod. It's a really good mod if you're focusing on PvE. It's essentially been made essential for PvP due to simultaneous turns, but then again, the Shadow of Death has been being ignored, so kinda wish there was more support for Shadow of Death multiplayer. But anyways, my name is Onager, and I'm gonna be signing off for now. I hope you enjoy the next video series, which is going to be Majesty. Man, it's a good time. Anyways, goodbye.